Hello, everyone, and once again, a very warm welcome to ChaiNet, the agentic commerce podcast exploring how brands are building in an AI world. I'm your host, Rachit Magan, and today we're diving into a conversation which I think every brand operator needs to hear. Um, there's a scenario which plays out more often than not in every brand at least once in their lifetime. They just signed a big marketing tech deal. They have the software, the deck looked amazing, the videos looked superb, the demos were flawless. A couple of months later, the platform is live, there's something happening, but the team is overwhelmed and no one is really using it. The ROI that actually justified the budget is nowhere close to be seen. Even if there is some movement in the needle, no one can really prove whether where is it coming from and whether it was really helpful or not. So if you have faced this, then this episode is exactly for you, because my guest today has watched this happen hundreds of times, but from the other side, from inside. Burak spent 4.5 years as a customer success manager at Insider, which is Turkey's first software unicorn, now a $2 billion Martech platform. His job was to make sure brands actually got value out of what they paid for. And what he learned in that role shaped his worldview about how brands buy and, more importantly, use technology. In January 2024, he co founded Boost Up Solutions, a boutique consultancy in Istanbul built on a very specific belief that real work starts after the contract is signed. His clients include some of Turkey's biggest retail and media brands, and his agency claims to get brands value 70% faster than their in house teams. So, this conversation is more about the gap between buying a Martech solution and actually using it, and why that gap exists, and how do you actually fill that gap as a brand owner. So, let's welcome Burak to stage.
Hello, Rashid.
Hi, Burak. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I am doing well. Wonderful. So I'm really, really excited to have you here. You're one of the first experts in the Martech field. I've been speaking to a lot of founders, so you know the other side of the story, but you're
Mhm.
the first person who has such a deep knowledge in the inside and on the other side of the game. So really excited to have you here, Burak. Let's start. So if you could just start with a little bit of your introduction for our listeners.
Well, thanks a lot. I'm also excited to be here. And also, thanks for the good words. It's good to hear that sometimes because we're too focused to do something, to solve something with the problems. But when it comes to these kind of conversations, so it feels good. Well, I'm Burak.
Right.
In 2 years, as you said, in Boost Up. Before that, I've different experiences. I've started working on WWF, the World Wildlife Foundation, then Greenpeace. Then I worked in a startup, then a headhunting company, and after that, then I worked in an even for the ATM solution company. So basically, I was always working on something different, but at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, an insider, I find what's my passion.
Hmm.
That's why I also focused on as a team also with my other co-founder and partner. So
Right.
that's where I found my passion. So we're here and in Boost Up.
Amazing. Amazing. It's always it's the lucky ones who end up finding their passion, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
there is I know there is a lot of hard work and there is a lot of game, but there's also, I believe in luck, and I think there's also a little bit of luck if you're eventually able to find your passion and then do it for
you need
yourself.
to look for it. It may come, you may found, you may not, but you need to keep trying. You need to keep trying to find the find what's your passion,
Yes.
what's your expectation. Eventually, I think
Hmm.
you'll find.
So with your almost 5 years with Insider, 4.5, 5 years with Insider, you were literally implementing these softwares for other businesses. What did you see on the inside while working for customer success, which you think that someone on the brand side will not know?
Well, on these days, even if the insider was doing perfectly implementation or the perfect services, in the
Right.
backstage, we were doing everything. Such as, well, I wasn't the only customer success manager on there. I was also technical consultant at some part. I was
Right.
also the sales guys for them. I was also helping to get their deals, agreements. Sometimes we were doing everything.
Right.
It was also it was a startup culture. So, and there you're working for something that you really believed for, and you're not realizing that you already worked 60 hours or 70 hours per week because you were just wanted to do that, wanted to achieve that. So this is probably comes someone strange, but it
Right.
was something like that.
The motivation to achieve something is so high that you're doing 70 hours, but still you don't feel like, right? You're still like, okay, this is, I want to achieve something.
Yeah, like I
Mm.
work for 15 hours, let's say on one Wednesday. On Thursday, I'm saying, okay, I need to come 1 hour early to the office so I can
Wow.
do more,
Right.
so I can do much more. So
Right.
you feel it. Well, it was there.
Correct. Right. And was there like a deal, or was there a brand you were working with which made you think that, okay, there is something broken in the industry, or was it like because you're like with Boost Up, right? Like,
Mhm.
it seems that it's hard, right? Buying software is easy, but
Yeah.
getting value out of it is hard, and that's what you're solving. So was there a time in Insider when that made you realize this?
Yeah, well, yes, it happens. I worked them more than probably 100 clients. So both for the insider and for now, I worked on every industry. On some of them, they're working with low profits. So it's so hard to create the value for them. Even you create the value, even the numbers are huge. It's not that huge for them because the profits that they
Hmm.
get from the numbers are low. So that was the hardest part. But I don't believe that the value cannot be created. I don't believe that. And in anywhere, in any sector, in any brand, you can create the value. If you're
Hmm.
not creating, then you need to change your aspect. You need to do
Right.
something very differently. You need to try, keep trying, then you can create the value.
Hmm. And is it usually hard to create value, or is it like is it something which is easy but people miss?
Yeah, well, actually, it's easy, but you need to be consistent.
Hmm.
So it's not one thing, it's not like, okay, I did this and the value created. You need to do
Correct.
this on every second. You need
Hmm.
to keep doing it and keep changing it, keep changing the email templates, keep changing
Hmm.
the app push language, the wording. You need to change it
Right.
continuously. So that's where you get the value. Think for
Need to
yourself.
keep experimenting.
Yeah, you're also a customer. You're receiving an email from a brand. If they are
Right.
sending you the exactly same email every week, you'll probably
Of
be
course.
unsubscribed. You need
Yes.
to change
Yes.
something.
We'll get irritated. We'll be like, okay, guys, leave us alone.
Yeah, it's well to sum up, it's easy, but you need to do
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
every time, every day.
Consistently. Right. Fair. Fair. Yeah, that makes sense. And what made you walk away from a good salary at a unicorn brand, very clear career path? What was that moment, like a deal, or a conversation which actually pushed you that, okay, I want to start something of my own?
Well, honestly, when I was going to Insider on my
Hmm.
interviews, I've lowered my wage, my salary. I just wanted to be in that story because
Right.
what they told me at that time, okay, we're gonna create a journey. We have a
Hmm.
goal. By the way, the unicorn was the first software unicorn was the goal to achieve.
Hmm.
So that's why we were also working so hard. We were
Right.
there to achieve that. And
Right.
once it's completed, once we get the unicorn at that time, we had a huge party. We have fun. But after that, I thought, okay, my story, I guess, has ended up in here because I wanted
Hmm.
to be the part of the unicorn team. I was there. I worked so hard. Now, what's the next step? Okay, the Nasdaq,
Hmm.
etc.
Right.
My story was about the unicorn. When it completed, I said, okay, I need a new journey.
Hmm.
I was also wanted to try this boost up this business. I
Right.
also felt like there's a huge potential, and
Right.
I need to do this. But once Insider got the unicorn, me and my partner, then we go. we co-funded the Boost Up
So
for the
there
new.
was this thing in your mind that okay, I need to build the company to a unicorn. And once that was achieved, then you're like, okay, now what next? What's my next goal?
I couldn't find a new motive
Haha. Right.
for my story, so
Right.
that's why I left.
Interesting. But was it hard? Like how like because of course you were getting like a good salary and it must have
Mhm.
been when you started you would not have clients, right?
Yeah. Well, before we start, we also have the contact with the clients already because we were
Hmm.
the first point of contact of them. Once we built the Boost Up, I reach out them. Okay, I'm here now. I'm doing this business. I
Hmm.
will be more
Hmm.
dedicated, etc. They get
Right.
excited. Okay, let's start. But at the end of the 1 month, there were no one,
Hmm.
no clients there. Like the one that said, we really want to do this. We want to work with you. They gone
Hmm.
found an irrelevant client from somewhere
Hmm.
that they referred us anything etc. But the first 6 months was so hard.
Must have been. And then how did you get your first client?
Well, one of our friends referred us that
Okay.
we were also using Insider, and he was struggling with the integration with the data
Hmm.
structure and also the whole mobile app integration. He
Hmm.
referred us. He said that they can do this. Then he said, okay, let's try. We said, let's try. So that's how it happened.
First client is always the hardest, right? And that's when you also want to prove to yourself that okay, this is something worth doing all of that. Let's get into the details of marketing technology, right? There is so many softwares now in the market. It's you search for one thing, you'll get at least 500 different options that do the same thing, right? And to be honest, every brand needs technology in this. No one can do without marketing technology. No one can do without Martech, right? They need that. But a lot of the times you buy something, like you buy a software,
Mm.
maybe it came from a referral. You know that there is some other brand using it very well. But more often than not, they usually don't use that piece of technology to its full potential. What happens? Walk me through what happens. Where are the failure points? What are the problems? What happens after the sales pitch?
Yeah, well, the expectation is, I think, is not setting right for the brands. They expect to get a huge ROI at the day one or when the integration has completed at any point. Then once they see that the expectation and the realization is very different, they get
Hmm.
bored with
Hmm.
the tool, with the technology.
Right.
We get used to it. Okay, well, we made the investment. This not suits for us. Okay, we won't be renewing the contract. Okay, keep it that,
Hmm.
etc. Then they give up from the tool.
Hmm.
One of the reason I think the planning, it starts from the data planning, the data structure. You need to,
Right.
like an architect, you need to build the data structure as your needs, for your needs.
Hmm.
So once you set the data mapping and the data structure right,
Right.
there's no chance that you can't benefit, that you can't utilize the tool.
Hmm.
Biggest problem is there, I think. The IT teams and the marketing teams are not talking that much.
Right.
Teams know what to do, but don't know what to do for the strategic aspects.
Hmm.
So they're not feed it for the strategy or which data they need. So this is the biggest reason I think.
There's a disconnect between the people who can implement it versus and the people who want to use it.
Yes.
And a lot of times I've seen the marketing, at least my friends who are in the marketing space, they then themselves try to understand and try to figure out that okay, how do we implement this tool and how do we what can be done? Is that the right thing? Like, do you think that is?
Yes, well, first you need to set your KPIs
Hmm.
exactly to
Hmm.
while you're making a pitching or while you're getting a tool.
Hmm.
If I were a brand, so by the way,
Right.
we're also deciding for new tool purchases for brands
Right.
in Boost as a consultant. What we are doing, giving the specific KPIs,
Hmm.
and we're asking for how can I do this, or we're asking for
Hmm.
the detailed use cases based on this.
Right.
They show us most of the times irrelevant use cases, the fancy use cases, as you said, the
Hmm.
fancy SEO, fancy use case, but it's not sweet for me. It's not sweet for my brand.
Hmm.
Uh,
Right.
I give them my KPI, and ask for specific use cases based on this KPI. So this is the most important thing for the sales pitching of the for these Martechs, I think.
How honest are these sales pitches? They, like, I've seen, most of the market will say, okay, this brand got for 50% ROI, and 1.6%, 1.6x revenue growth, and all of that. In general, you've seen so many. So how honest are these pitches?
Well, numbers are correct, I think, because
Hmm.
we were the one who creating these use cases. The 50% conversion rate uplift, increase in the open rate, anything. But these are proved by the data. These are correct. But when
Hmm.
it comes to features, it changed, I think.
Right.
And I also don't think it's not honest, because when a salesperson said that, okay, we have this feature, but if you don't have,
Right.
but still, if you're going to do this, I think it's okay. It's not a lie,
Hmm.
because
Right.
you'll be covering that part when once the client needs.
Once the need.
Yes, yes. I don't think it's not a lie, but not the truth. It's, I think, in the gray
Hmm.
area.
Right.
But for the
Correct.
numbers, I don't believe. I believe them.
If, let's say, I am today, at 200, 300 products a day, and I want to scale up, what do I have to do? Like, what should be my next steps?
Well, the first thing, I think you need to analyze your existing customer, because it
Hmm.
shows you how you seen from your clients, from the one who pays for your products. So
Right.
the first thing, you need to understand your customer. You need to segment them and to create the micro segmentation if you have a huge base. But for a starter, you need to know what's your customer expect from you, because they
Hmm.
already paid you. They can pay you
Right.
again. They can buy something, or they can make referral for you. So
Hmm.
first thing is focusing on the existing clients, existing customers.
Right.
Then you build the life cycle journey for your new customer, is the one that will come in one day, that will come
Hmm.
next month probably. They will meet you in the next year. You already be prepared once the user comes, land it in your website or land it in your app or
Right.
your social media account. You need to be prepared, but but for this preparation, you need to understand your client, your target audience, I think.
Correct. Correct. And now there is so much. There are so many new solutions coming up with AI. Right? There is AI voice, AI agents, all of it. Have you guys implemented any of these new tech for any brands? Like, how did that go? How has the last six to 10 months been with respect to the new AI sort of tools?
Well, when I hear AI, it scares me. It seems like a scam a bit, because in these
Right.
days they're making machine learning and they call it AI. It's not AI, it's
Hmm.
machine learning. We know this, but most of the clients doesn't know that. Or
Hmm.
what I see in here in Turkey, every year the content changes. One year it's
Hmm.
omni-channel. All the CMOs hear the omni-channel from somewhere, and they're all talking about the omni-channel. Even if they already
Right.
do, some of them already doing. Some of them
Right.
already have the whole journey for the omni-channel journey. They're coming back and talking their team. We need to do something omni. But you're already doing it. I think AI is something different from this time, because
Hmm.
you can use AI for making images,
Hmm.
or you can just using for fun. But
Hmm.
if you position it right with the right features, I
Right.
don't think in here is use any company is using efficiently or AI
Hmm.
agents.
Correct.
So the one who implements it will be differentiate from the other ones. But I think the brands wants to do something, but they don't
Hmm.
know what to do, not how to do, what to do,
Hmm.
how to
What to do?
position. And also when it comes for the products with the AI products, the biggest struggle is the budget holders.
Hmm.
For example, I'm going to bought a vendor. I'm gonna make an agreement with a vendor that will automate my operational process, my integration
Hmm.
with the other tool that I'm using. Which teams budget should pay this? Is it for the marketing? Is it for the IT? Is it for the security? Is it for the operations business? Well, whose budget?
Right.
should be responsible for the tool. I think one of the hardest part for the vendors for the close the deals is that part.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. And where does this then, like in general, where does the budget come from? Is it like the marketing teams, or is it like the operations teams? And like in general, where does it come from? Or it depends on company to company. It's completely random.
It depends on the company, but mostly
Hmm.
most of our clients or most of the company that I work with, mostly they come from the marketing budget.
Hmm.
So when it comes to marketing budget, the decision makers are the marketers, but tool is for the IT teams. So
Hmm.
it's not also
Right.
the same thing for them, but
Hmm.
mostly in here it comes from the marketing budget.
Right. And they, like, as you said, that brands still don't know what to do, right? They don't know what to do with AI. My personal, thing has been that today every platform says that we are a AI native platform. But the reality is very different, right? They'll put an agent on top of their existing,
Mhm.
they'll put like a chatbot on top of their existing tool, and they'll say that we're an AI platform. Have you found any really good AI platform for brands which you think that are worth it? And have you tried it with anyone and got some results?
Well, I haven't find yet. But
Hmm.
they're launching new features. For example, Inside just launched the content creation, that not the scenario creation with AI.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've tried it. I liked it a bit, but it
Hmm.
needs to evolve something. But
Right.
it have potential. But rather than that, I only saw little APIs with connected to OpenAI or connected to
Right.
cloud, anything. You're just asking, how can I do this? Okay, it's good.
Hmm.
It's good. It's
Right.
better than zero. But I don't think, or I haven't found any fully AI native product
Hmm.
yet.
Which you can be very confident about to your brands that okay, this is something that that we can use and we should use. Hmm.
It's an announcement, by the way, from here. If you have something like this, please DM me.
Yeah, please reach out to Burak, guys. Please pitch to him. Maybe he implements it for one of his brands. And
I,
yeah.
I'm looking for.
Right. And Burak, so in the last 2 years you've been with Boost Up, what has been the hardest, for you in the company to build it to this scale?
Well, the making decision part is the hardest one,
Hmm.
but you get used to it because
Hmm.
every day you need to make some decisions.
Right.
Before that, there was someone who makes a decision for
Who
you.
made the
It was
decisions?
comforting.
Yes.
You only need to do what you're doing already.
Right.
But when it comes to an agency as a co-founder, the
Hmm.
hardest thing is making decisions every day
Right.
and moving on, making decision and moving on. But you get used to it.
I completely get that. There are times when I wake up and I feel that, oh God, I wish someone tells me what to do today.
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
someone please give me my tasks for today? It is
yeah,
hard.
exactly. Well, and
And also,
sorry, just one thing. In here
yes.
in Turkey, there's a 1 month mandatory military obligation. You went to you
Hmm. Okay.
joined the
Right.
military and
Hmm.
you'll be there. I love that time because on there
Hmm.
they say what to eat, what to wait,
Right.
where to wait. And they say, okay, you
Hmm.
have 1 hour free. Just go there and wait there. I need a day like this. Someone just told
Right.
me, go there and wait. Just wait. Okay, I can do it. I don't want to make decisions. I need a day like this.
Yeah, that's that's a very. I remember reading somewhere that Steve Jobs used to say that okay, we have every day we can only make X number of decisions. So he used to try to minimize the decisions he could make. That's why he used to wear the same T-shirt every day because he's
Ah,
like that. When I wake up, I don't want to decide what to wear. I want to minimize the number of decisions I make in the
yeah,
day. So he'll wear the same clothes like throughout for I think for good with that turtleneck, that turtleneck shirt which is famous. He used to wear. Yeah, it's like he had like hundreds of like just those because he did not want to make a decision what to wear.
it makes sense.
I also like with clothes I also prefer like okay if I have like a black t-shirt then I just go for that. I like okay let's just make it easy. One decision less to
Yeah,
take.
yeah, yeah.
Or I with me I ask my wife what can I wear? Tell me.
For sure, for sure. I have
Yeah.
also the same black T-shirt, probably 8 of them.
Right.
Every 6 months, I go to store. I
Just
bought
the
just two extra, and every time
right.
because I know my size. I love
Right.
the cut of the T-shirt, so it also minimize the decision.
No, and this is very interesting. The other day I was talking to a founder who, so she started, she's doing very well in India. She has around 8 to 10 stores, like physical stores, and they started as a unisex store.
Mhm.
And she's a female founder, and then eventually they scrapped all their women collection. Now they only do men collection because they like that men are so loyal to their brands,
Yeah.
right? That if they like you, then they will come to you. They will not think twice and not go to other brands.
We also made this as an A/B test for our
Mm-hmm.
client for
Mm-hmm.
specifically male users. We added a button, a reorder from your last order.
Hmm.
So
Right.
it worked amazing. So I can also prove that
Right. That it's valid. Yeah. Yeah. Just click on it and you're done, right? Don't have to think
it's
about
so easy.
anything. Yeah. But I think my wife will never do that. She will never reorder something. She'll like, no, I've already done this once. I want something new completely. Yeah. That's how
It's cool.
genders are definitely a little different. Amazing. Thank you so much. This is exactly the kind of conversation I wanted to have with you. Very honest, very operational, and the it's a very good conversation. I hope our listeners enjoyed it as much as I did. It's very interesting that that buying a software is very different, implementing it is very different, and your story itself, that how you've worked in the last 2 years, where you've reached where you've reached. And yeah, it's been amazing. To our listeners, I hope this episode gave you a clearer picture of where to start, how to start, and if you're buying any new Martech, you can ping Burak, ask for advice, ask for help. Or on the other side, if you're selling something interesting, have a wonderful day ahead. Bye bye. Thank you.